shout out to Gray Squirrel. We're over here. We're hungry. We're thinking about food. We're going to check out some super sad song from some guy named Tom Waits. New artist to me. Song is called Hell Broke Luce? Maybe? Maybe?
Bomb made me deaf. A Humvee mechanic put his Kevlar on wrong. I guarantee you'll meet up at the suicide bomb at hell.
Okay, now I remember. It wasn't that it was a tearjerker. It was more that it was maybe a little bit of a PTSD from myself warning. I think was more the clue that he was giving me. That'd be like, hey, we're gonna get into the subject matter. I think so. We're all good. We are all good.
A Humvee mechanic put his Kevlar on wrong. I guarantee you'll meet up at the suicide bomb at hell broke loose. Hell broke loose. Big fucking ditches in the middle of the road. You pay $100 just for filling in the hole. Listen to the general every goddamn word. How many ways can you polish up a turd? And left, right, right, hell broke loose. Hell broke loose. Hell broke loose. How is it that the only ones responsible for making this mess got the sorry asses stapled to a goddamn desk? And hell broke loose. Hell broke loose. Left, right, left. What did you do before the war? I was a chef. And what was your name? It was Jeff. I lost my buddy and I wept.
What did you do the war? I was a chef. What was your name? My name was Jeff. To all those veterans out there, how long did it take you to get used to people calling you by your first name when you got out? Because I still don't like it. You know what I mean? It's still weird. I told somebody the other day, I'm like, the only thing that I think probably makes me feel the most comfortable when people like call me is when they call me by my last name. And even my military buddies don't call me by my last name anymore because they wanted to break that mold. You know what I mean? They're like, no, we're not doing that no more. We're going to conform. We were conforming by going by first names then. You know what I mean? But like then everybody in the world goes by first names and it's like weird to hear people call them by their last name. So the other thing that made me really think about was that when you said about my name was Jeff and I was a chef before the war. Like, I have said this a few times on the channel, and I'll say this to anybody who needs to hear it. The military changes you. You're, like, not the same person that you were before, no matter who you are. No matter who you are. Somehow, some way, it is going to change you. I'm not saying it's going to fuck you up, but I'm saying it will change you. It will change perspectives about certain things that you have, and you don't even realize it does. You know what I mean? Where, again, I was called by my first name my entire life. And like now, it's been so many years that I've been out, and it still weirds me out. You know what I mean? I had so many friends who like had issues like with their like girlfriends or their wives or their husbands because like they joined the military and then they thought that their partner needed to because they weren't doing enough with their lives because they weren't part of the military. That's what I'm saying. I could tell you stories for days about how the military changes people. You know what I mean? You're not the same person before you ever put on the uniform. And you're definitely not the same person after you see anything in combat. You know what I mean? Even if it's a taste of it, even if it's just a little glimpse of some of it, it just, all of it changes you. And I've had so many people tell me that it wouldn't change them, and they wouldn't, but it does. It does. Ask any veteran, and they will tell you. Because if they tell you that the military didn't change them, they're a goddamn liar. Either that or they dropped out in boot camp. That's all I got to say. If you made it through boot camp, that experience changed you. That's all I'm saying. You can't make it through boot camp without changing a little bit. You know what I mean?
I was a chef. What was the name? It was Jeff. I lost my body and I wept. I come down from the meth, so I slept. I had a good home, but I left. Pants did the wind for a joke. I pranced right in with the dope. Glanced at her shin, she said nope. Left, right, left. Nimrod, bodfish, have you any wool? Get me another body bag, the body bag's full. And my face was scorched. I miss my home, I miss my porch. Left, right, left. Can I go home in March? My stance was a chin full of soap. That rancid dinner with the Pope. And left, right, left. Cali Priscilla got his thumbs blown off. Sergio's developing a real bad cough. And hell broke loose. Hell broke loose.
Sergio's developing a real bad cough. I wonder if that has a tie back to like Ancient Orange. I think that's what that's called. But it makes me think about this guy that I met when I was deployed. You know, you talk to a million people at the smoke pit. You know what I'm saying? People of all walks of life from the military. You know what I mean? That's where you get to find out, hey, what's your AFSC? What do you do? Hey, what are you doing over here? You know what I'm saying? Where are you from? Where are you stationed? You know what I mean? And I talked to this dude. I can't remember exactly what his job was, but he definitely worked. He was a mechanic, and he cleaned out the intakes of jets, like of big jets. And he told me that like it's almost guaranteed, like a 90-something% guaranteed that doing that job over an extended period of time would give you cancer. And I thought that was wild. As he was sitting there, you know, smoking his cigarette, I was like, well, you know, I guess if you don't care about dying, you know what I mean? Or if you want to die, but why would you stay in that career field? Somebody's got to do it, right? That's the military. You're going to get cancer, but we still have a job that we need you to do. So go ahead and sign up. You know what I'm saying? Get that 26 on that ASVAB, and you can go in there and get cancer too and clean out the intakes of jets. You know what I'm saying? But don't worry. The military will give you some money on that on the backside only if you fight them for it. Only if you fight them for it.
Boom went his heavyweight and boom went Bowery. What the hell was it that the president said? Give them all a beautiful parade instead. And left, right, left. Well, I was over here and never got to vote. I left my arm in my coat. My mom, she died and never wrote.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. How about all those deployed people who could never got a chance to cast their votes in any of those elections, period? You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, like, you know, you are a federal asset. Federal, mind you. Not just a state one. You know what I mean? Unless you're in the Guard or Reserves, then you're the state. But federal assets. Don't vote.
My mom, she died and never wrote. He sat by the fire and ate a coat. Just before he died, he had a toke. Now I'm home, and I'm blind, and I'm broke. What is next?
Fire. Talk to him, bro. I love it. I love this. This is just like the story of a PTSD veteran. You know what I mean? Insert your story here, type shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, hell definitely broke loose. You know what I'm saying? I like the imagery of like all like the homes like being kind of like carried with them, or like their parachutes or their baggage, if you will. And then when he started talking about when everybody comes home, and like how they just kind of like just shove you back out into the world. I can't tell you what it's like. I can't tell you what it's like for every veteran who got out of the military, and I can't tell you what it's like for every veteran who got out of the military in the last 15 years. But I will tell you what they told me when I went through my exiting process. They told me about 30 fucking times in a week, because they had us go to this thing where we were basically going to get like a bunch of people that came and like taught us how to be civilians. I can't remember what it's called. There's a specific name for this program that they have you go through. That's like a little 5-day course thing where they have you dress up like you're going on job interviews and all kinds of shit. And they told us probably about 45,000 times that week that 45% of veterans, when they leave the military, end up homeless and unhoused. And they told us that a lot. A lot. They try to scare us into staying. That was really the tactic, right? Was like, you ain't going to make it out there. You should really stay. You still time. You know what I mean? Like, that was the point. But there is a lot of truth and reality to that. Because... you know, God forbid we get pulled into another fucking war soon, and we have a bunch of servicemen and women that will go through what the rest of us went through when we came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, where there's a brief moment in time in history where the general populace will ever give a fuck about veterans for real. You know what I mean? And the last time I really remember that happening was when 9/11 happened. That's when everybody gave a fuck about veterans, because they're like, go fight our battles for us. Go fuck them up. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time that when I left to go on my first deployment, I got sent off with balloons. And when I came back, they were throwing eggs and calling us murderers. You know what I mean? Like, there was protests at the damn base, like holding up signs that we were a bunch of murderers and killers and stuff. You know what I mean? And so, like, you know, that's fun to come home to. That is fun. That's a nice way to regroup back into America. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, like any point in time and any time that we've ever gotten into wars, there's probably a brief moment in time, if any at all, where the general society was like, okay, that's cool, we should do that. And then very quickly it changes. And then it starts turning their back on their veterans, because now all of a sudden the veterans are the bad guys, because we are those rapists and murderers and all those things that they say that we are. And we come back when we thought, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, how quickly one moment people can tell you that they support what you're doing and that you're out there doing something that's important, that matters for people, and then how quickly that entire perspective can change, and now all of a sudden you are the bad guy. You know what I mean? This is why I always say that there's never any winners in war. Because if you died in combat, you obviously didn't win. But if you make it back, you kind of almost wish that you died there. Because my view of America and my thought of America and my view of everything was different when I left. And sometimes I wish that I never would have came back. I know that's a little bit morbid to say, but it's true. Because I don't feel like I ever really came back from there. I feel like my entire life has changed since I went there. You know, you go on other deployments and those ones are way easier, simpler, no danger. You're not really fearing for your life or anything like that. Cakewalk deployments, if you will. But you never really leave the first one. You know, I remember before I went there, I had a friend, and how quickly I watched him change from his one deployment. And then I became him. I literally just like followed in his footsteps. When he came back, he was just like, nothing, none of this shit matters. Everything we do here is stupid. All I want to do is go back. That's exactly how I felt coming back too. I was trying to go back like within 6 months. If I wasn't going to have a kid, I probably would have went. No one ever wins. You get wrapped up in this idea that like that's the only thing that matters anymore. When in reality is like, what were we even doing there? What were we even doing there in the first place? You know, I remember reading situation reports from other units across the country where those motherfucking people thought that our choppers were dragons. Like dead ass thought they were dragons. Because they're so secluded from the fucking world. They'd never seen anything fly in the sky like that. I'm not trying to say that every veteran is a good person. I'm not trying to say that every veteran deserves special treatment. But I think it does mean a lot to us when people thank us. Those little moments. You know, for the longest time, I had the hardest time even just hearing thank you for my service and all that kinds of stuff. I didn't know how to respond to it. And I tell people all the time that when I joined the military and I signed up and I went over there and I did all those things, you know, and people like, you know, they ask like, hey, when were you there? You know, I'll tell them. And then they'll be like, oh, I was doing this when you were doing that. It's the absolute last thing that I want to hear is how much your life was so great during that year. And it's not anything against those people, but every single person, that's the first thing that comes out of their mouth of like, oh, this is what I was doing when you were doing that. But I say all that to say that I know those people mean well. And that's why I signed up for it in the first place. Is that so I could do it so that way the next person didn't have to. And so that way that person could do a cake stand at their college. You know what I mean? And almost flunk out of school type shit. You know what I mean? I hope everybody had fun in their sororities, in their fraternities. I'm sure it was a great time. Hey, but at least I got to have a Cuban cigar on my 21st birthday. That's where I spent my 21st birthday, was in the desert. So I got to miss out on all those fun things that everybody else gets to constantly remind me that's what they were doing when I was there. Again, shout out to those people who can't help themselves. frat boys are frat boys for a reason. You know what I mean? Because they don't know how to read the room. They don't know how to read the fucking room. Oh my God. That's all I got for this one, guys. I appreciate you, Gray Squirrel. You definitely got a good reaction out of this because you got me talking for at least like 20 fucking minutes. So be kind to a stranger. Tell somebody that you love them. And if you haven't joined the Foxtrot family, there's always room for you.